Number 7.
Maybe it's low. The Texans, they're still young, and that was a tough road game, but they didn't have any turnovers. C.J. Stroud played clean. They had 417 total yards. You know, I'm about a week from putting them at number 3. If they go home and hammer the Bears, I think I may move the Texans to number 3. I'm not quite ready, but good God, Stephon Diggs comes in, touchdowns. Joe Mixon, bang. I cannot believe how quickly they have built this roster up. I'm a semi-believer. If they hammer the Bears, I think I'm putting them at 3. Right now, I've got them at 7.
Okay, so I've been really frustrated with the Houston Texans coverage. I've been struggling to find stuff a lot. So I'm happy that Colin was able to do the top 10, because I'm just going to use this as a platform to kind of really use the Texan to talk more about the Texans, because it's kind of shocking to me how little coverage they're getting. The two teams that really stuck out to me that really did not get a lot of coverage are the Texans and the Packers, actually, which is funny considering I had those two teams as poised to set up to be top teams in the NFL, with both quarterbacks in the running for MVP. So, but yeah, the Texans, I think 7 is too low. When I did my own top 10, I had them at number 4, but I could also see them being 3 or 2. This is just based off of, just week 1, not necessarily what I think as a whole. But I think the Texans looked great. I think a 29-27 win against the Colts is underrated. We have to see what the Colts end up being, but I think the Colts it's Shane Steichen and a quarterback as dynamic as they are is just always going to be difficult to gauge. I think it's difficult to gauge the defense of the Texans because it's just such a uniquely specific type of quarterback and an offense that's going to be run. So I just think it's difficult. Same thing with the Chiefs versus Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. It's just like I don't know how to necessarily make sense of that because we're talking about a quarterback that's like does things that no other quarterback really does. So I think, I'm looking at it more now of like, how did their offense look like? I'm leaning more towards judging their offense more than anything. And, it looked great. But again, I have to figure out who are the Colts defensively. Are they a good defensive team or not? Can the Texans rely on, 150 yards rushing or however many yards it was consistently throughout the season? I have no idea. But they have so many weapons, and I think it's just C.J. Stroud is such a threat passing the ball that's going to open up the run game as well. And the cliche is, you run the ball to support the passing game, and it's like, but it really kind of works both ways, especially when you're stacked with endless weapons. So the Texans to me are just such a great team, and at the minimum a top 5 team. I think 7 is too high or too low. I still haven't figured out the best way how to phrase it in terms of 7 or but in terms of the rankings. But yeah, it's just they came to play week 1. They had a great game plan. They have their identity. The name of the game for them is, of course, put up points. There was so much talk and speculation about, well, this is a harder schedule, and CJ Stroud is going to have a sophomore slump, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I'm not seeing any of that happening. I see Bobby Slowick and CJ Stroud continuing to develop as an offensive coordinator and quarterback, and just both continuing to get better, more comfortable, taking more strategic chances. And I just think Diggs looked seamless. I mean, they all looked seamless for the most part. And I think handing the ball off 30 times, I think it was probably more than 30. I think just Mixon had 30 himself, is unbelievable. That to me shows so much maturity and poise from not only, again, Slowick, but then also CJ Stroud and just the game plan itself, just knowing, yes, we have all these weapons. Yes, we have CJ Stroud. Yes, he's a beast. We're going to run the ball a lot. We're going to run it down the throats of these guys. And that's what great coaches and teams do. Patrick Mahomes hands the ball off plenty. Brock Purdy, Shanahan loves establishing the run game. Like it's smart. It's smart football. Of course you need to be able to pass the football. Of course you need to be able to throw. You can't just, win on the ground. But I think sometimes when we have these teams that have such amazing high-flying quarterbacks, especially someone as dynamic as CJ Stroud, it's just so easy to 100% rely on him like the Bills do with Josh Allen. And to see the Texans not do that, to me, bodes extremely well for them, and it's just hard to not see them just continuing to get better. I mean, CJ Stroud just looked so comfortable moving around the pocket. His legs, he just looked so fresh and agile. Like, he somehow looked more athletic to me than he did last year. I feel like maybe last season, since of course he was a rookie, like any of the times that he used his legs, it almost was like a nervousness use of legs in a way. And this time around, and again, it's only one game, it was more like, this is the way, this is what the game is presenting to me, and so I'm going to do it, right? Like, it just seemed like a more, he just looked more comfortable. I don't know how else to put it outside of that. He just fundamentally looked more comfortable. You want to see what they look, and it was a tight game too. So it's not like he just looked comfortable and the score was 29-10, right? Like, anyone can look comfortable when it's 29-10. This was a closer game than I think maybe most people would have originally anticipated. I thought the Colts were going to be a good team. Of course, to me, it depended on if AR can stay healthy and if he can make some good progress for Shane Steichen. But the Colts were almost a playoff team with Gardner Minshew, as the Texans are very well aware of, right? Like, it came down to that final game. So, and I'm sure there was also some revenge factor of like trying to get them back. So I'm sure both teams were definitely very heightened. This is one of the harder week 1 matchups to me. So the fact that the Texans were able to come out with a win and look pretty confident in doing so. I don't think there was really many fluky plays where you could be like, I don't know, man. The Texans did win that game, but like, they're really lucky. I mean, I'm sure if you really dig deep, you can find something. But to me, at the end of the day of week 1, when I'm trying to evaluate a team, I just try to think to myself, which team looked better? Which team looked like they were, whether it was a close game, maybe they lost, maybe they win, whatever it was, what team just fundamentally looks better? Who looks like that they were in control? If you said these two teams were playing again, who do you think is going to win that game? And it's like the Texans, right? And I feel that way about the Chiefs versus the Ravens, right? The 49ers versus the Jets. Like, to me, it's just very clear and cut. And not a lot of teams really looked all that clear and cut, quite frankly, in week 1. But the Texans, to me, definitely were one of them. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Houston Texans being number 7, according to Colin Cowherd? Do you think that they should be lower? Do you think they should be top 3, top 2, top 5? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.